Hi everyone, Kim here. I'm talking to you from my living room today. Welcome to week one of our new virtual retreat. And in week one, we're going to be focusing on what are core beliefs and understanding how they're tied to fear and anxiety. So let's start with what are core beliefs. They're basic assumptions and philosophies almost that guide us through our life. And core beliefs can be either positive or negative. And most of us have some combination of positive and negative core beliefs. So, the first thing I want to make sure that you understand about core beliefs is that they are unconscious. So, core beliefs are not an active choice we've made about, the philosophy we want to have about life, how we would like to move through life, what we would like our philosophy and our attitude to be. Core beliefs are completely unconscious and they are directed by our subconscious mind. And core beliefs typically are created very early in life, like when we're, the first 5 years of our life. And they are based on our own experiences in the world and all the data that we take in during that time, our child's mind is taking in. But it's not just based on our own experiences, it's also based on what we see and hear and feel and experience happening to the other people in our lives and in the world around us during those 5 years. And again, our young mind, it takes in all this data, but it doesn't really know how to process it. So, you know, unfortunately, our child's mind filter doesn't know how to say, gosh, that core belief or that philosophy isn't really going to serve me well in life. So, I don't want to save that in my programming. At that age, we don't know how to do that. So it's just groundwork. It's just stuff that gets laid down in our mental subconscious early on, and for that reason, pretty much they're really deep, and we really can't do a lot to change or alter those core beliefs throughout our life. They're going to carry with us. Now, some people say that through hypnosis, you can actually kind of open the subconscious mind and make it more susceptible to new ideas and suggestions. So that might be true. I've never tried that. But it might be something, if a core belief is really affecting your life in negative ways, that might be something to try. But generally speaking, most of us are going to be needing to learn how to cope with and manage our core beliefs throughout our life. So they're deeply embedded, they're unconscious, and they probably can't be changed. They are created early in life. And the other thing to understand is that negative core beliefs are directly tied to fear and anxiety. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And why that is because your subconscious mind is going to basically twist any event that happens in your life and try to make it fit your core belief. So it becomes, your subconscious mind is going to want to fulfill that prophecy of what your core belief is. So I'm going to give you a pretty simple example of this, but it's also a pretty common example. Sorry, I think you hear my clock chiming in the background. I've got the windows open too, so you might hear my wind chimes. Hopefully none of that will be too distracting. But okay, so here's the example I want to give you. Say that early on in your childhood, somebody criticized you, said that you were bad, you did something badly, or that maybe you couldn't do anything right, or perhaps you were negatively compared to some of your siblings. And those experiences start to create a core belief, and especially if that kind of experience maybe happened more than once or happened repeatedly throughout your early childhood. And that core belief may be that I'm not good enough and I can't do anything right. Okay? So that gets set early on in your childhood, and then years later, maybe even decades later, say that you apply for a job and you don't get the position. Well, your logical mind may very easily know that, that's just common, that happens all the time, and it just means that it's not personal. Someone who was more perfectly qualified, for that job at that moment in time got the job, and you didn't. That's all it means. And even spiritually, you may be able to say, I know that happened for a reason, and maybe, there's a better job, more appropriate job waiting for me, or there was something about that job that wouldn't have been a good fit for me. So spiritually, you may even believe that that's what was meant to happen. But if your core belief is negative, you're probably still going to be haunted by a lot of feelings that you failed. You weren't good enough. You're never going to get a job. You're never going to be competitive at the kind of job that you want, because your core belief is that you're not good enough, right? And unfortunately, that often wins out and can create a lot of anxiety, and in some cases can even cause us to freeze or, not feel confident moving forward with our job search, or affect our performance when we interview for the next job, et cetera, et cetera. But by comparison, say that you had an opposite positive core belief, that you are worthy and capable, right? And that was the core belief that you're operating from. That's going to cause you to have a very, very different experience, because at that point, your core belief is in alignment with what your rational mind is telling you, that happens all the time. You just weren't the best qualified candidate in this moment in time for this position. And it's also in alignment with your spiritual belief that maybe that it wasn't meant to happen, wasn't meant to work out that way. So your core belief is in alignment with your logical mind and your spiritual wisdom. And so you're able to be very resilient, and you move past that experience. And in fact, you're probably already excited about the next job that you see that you're going to apply for, and the world of possibilities that still remain out there. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of a sense of, how differently two people with opposing core beliefs, one negative and one positive, can have a radically different experience with the same basic life experience. Okay. So what I'm going to guide you through this week is the lesson below, and then some exercises in a worksheet that are going to help you identify what maybe some of your own core beliefs are, and how those might be affecting you in your life, what's kind of common fears you might need to look out for. And then in the discussion thread in this classroom, and in the Zoom meeting the live Zoom chat that we'll have this week, we'll probably spend some more time diving into sort of the actual ramifications of different core beliefs during this time of COVID-19 and the specific challenges that we're facing right now. So I look forward to spending the week with you, and getting your input and learning from all of you as well. This is going to be a really important week to lay down a foundation for a really profound retreat experience. So I'll see you in the classroom and on the Zoom chat.